They say heroes inspire us, but let's be honest, the villains are what keep us glued to the screen. There are athletes who were born to be hated. They have giant egos, they play dirty, and they do not care what you think about them.
Look, you can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious! That ball was on the line! Shaw
In fact,
blew up!
many people pay for a ticket just hoping to see them lose. Today I bring you the top 10 biggest and most infamous villains in sports history. Do you love them or do you hate them? Let's get down to business. Number 10. The Detroit Pistons of the late 1980s, universally known as the Bad Boys. Before the Chicago Bulls dynasty took over the world, they had to go through Detroit, and Detroit made sure it was a nightmare. This wasn't just a basketball team, it was a gang. Led by the rough Bill Laimbeer, a man who would elbow his own mother for a rebound, and a young chaotic Dennis Rodman, they instilled genuine fear in the NBA. They didn't just play defense, they assaulted you. If you drove to the basket, you weren't getting an easy layup, you were hitting the floor hard. They famously designed the Jordan rules, a specific set of tactics to physically beat down Michael Jordan every time he touched the ball. They won back-to-back championships in 1989 and 90, but the world hated them for it. Their villainy peaked when they finally lost to the Bulls in 1991. Instead of shaking hands like sportsmen, they walked off the court with seconds remaining on the clock, refusing to acknowledge the new champions. They were the bullies of the neighborhood, and they were proud of it. Number 9. Jose Mourinho. In the world of football, villains are usually players who kick people. But Mourinho is different. He is the intellectual villain. From the moment he arrived in England and arrogantly declared himself the special one, the world knew this man was trouble. Mourinho is a master of dark psychology and media manipulation. He turned press conferences into theater. When his teams lost, he never admitted fault. Instead, he would launch conspiracy theories, attack referees, insult rival managers like Arsene Wenger, or blame the ball boys. But here is the genius part. He did it on purpose. He created storms to absorb all the pressure so the media would talk about him and leave his players alone. His teams played defensive, ugly football, often described as parking the bus, just to frustrate opponents who played beautiful games. A technical genius, yes, but his arrogance and his toxic exits from clubs have made him a figure that half the planet loves to hate. Number 8. Floyd Mayweather. This man turned hate into a business model. Before he was Money Mayweather, he was Pretty Boy Floyd. But he realized that being the good guy doesn't pay the bills. So he became the ultimate arrogant villain. He flaunted his hundreds of millions of dollars, his fleets of luxury cars, and his private jets while people struggled to pay rent. He is arguably the greatest defensive boxer in history, unhittable and brilliant, but his style was often boring to watch for the casual fan. Outside the ring, his history of domestic violence made him a truly polarizing figure. Inside the ring, he was ruthless. Let's talk about the fight against Victor Ortiz in 2011. It was the moment that cemented his villain status. After Ortiz headbutted him, the referee separated them. Ortiz approached Floyd to apologize with his hands down and a smile on his face. Floyd accepted the apology, and then, instantly, hit him with a brutal two-punch combination while Ortiz wasn't looking, knocking him out cold. It was legal, but it was cheap. Personally, I have always disliked his attitude, and I rarely hold grudges against athletes, but Floyd made it easy. Millions bought his fights just praying to see that zero in his loss column disappear. It never did. Number 7. Nick Kyrgios, the bad boy of modern tennis. Tennis is supposed to be a gentleman's sport, full of traditions, silence, and white clothing. Then came Nick Kyrgios to burn it all down. The Australian possesses supernatural talent. He has perhaps the best serve on the tour and hands that can do magic. But his mind is absolute chaos. He is the villain because he doesn't respect the unwritten rules. He screams at ball boys, he insults umpires, he smashes 3 rackets in a row, and he gets into arguments with fans in the middle of points. His match against the Tapanos Tsitsipas at Wimbledon was one of the most toxic environments ever seen on a tennis court. Sometimes he admits he doesn't even like tennis and only plays for the paycheck. This infuriates the purists who see a wasted talent. But here is the truth. Whenever Kyrgios plays, the stadium is full. People love the drama. He is a box office villain because you never know if you're going to see a masterclass or a mental breakdown.
Number 6. Draymond Green. Every villain list needs an enforcer, and Draymond Green is the engine of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. While Steph Curry is the golden boy hitting 3-pointers, Draymond is in the trenches doing the dirty work. And when I say dirty, I mean it literally. He has a compilation of fouls that looks like a WWE highlight reel. We have seen him kick Steven Adams in the groin not once, but twice. We have seen him poke LeBron James in the eye. Recently, we saw him stomp on the chest of Domantas Sabonis and put Rudy Gobert in the chokehold. He screams at referees, he taunts opponents, and he is the king of technical fouls. But what makes him a true villain is that he never apologizes. He believes he is the victim. He is the type of player that if he is on your team, you defend him to the death. But if he is playing against you, you hate him with every fiber of your being. Number 5. Jon Jones, the Dark Prince of the UFC. If we are talking about pure talent, Jon Jones is likely the greatest martial artist of all time, the GOAT. But his legacy is permanently stained by his actions outside the cage. He was the youngest champion in UFC history, a wholesome Christian boy with a Nike deal. Then, the mask fell off. He tested positive for cocaine. He was involved in a hit-and-run accident where he crashed into a pregnant woman's car and fled the scene, only to return to grab his cash. He has failed multiple drug tests for steroids, causing entire events to be moved to different states just so he could fight. Inside the octagon, he is vicious, known for poking his opponents in the eyes to keep distance. His rivalry with Daniel Cormier showed his true colors, where he was caught on a hot microphone telling Cormier he would literally kill him. Jones embraces the hate now. He is the villain who simply refuses to lose no matter how many rules, legal or moral, he breaks.
Number 4. The New York Yankees of the 1990s. In American sports, there is no entity more hated than the Yankees. This entry isn't about a single player, but an entire organization known as the Evil Empire. In the 90s, led by Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, and a blank checkbook, they destroyed the competitive balance of baseball. They didn't play dirty on the field. They played dirty in the bank account. They had so much money that they simply bought the best players from other teams, crushing the dreams of smaller franchises like the Oakland A's or the Minnesota Twins. They won 4 World Series in 5 years, 96, 98, 99, and 2000. Their dominance was so inevitable that it became boring and frustrating for everyone outside of New York. They represented the big corporate machine crushing the little guy. Rooting against the Yankees became a national pastime in America, second only to baseball itself. Number 3. John McEnroe. Before Kyrgios, there was the original brat, John McEnroe.
Second stop, please.
Answer my question! The question, jerk!
In the late 70s and early 80s, tennis was stiff and polite. McEnroe arrived like a punk rocker crashing a tea party. His rivalry with the cool, calm Bjorn Borg was fire and ice. McEnroe's famous for one line that is now sports history. "You cannot be serious," screamed at the top of his lungs at an umpire at Wimbledon. He turned the court into a battlefield. He would stop matches for minutes, hurling abuse at officials, smashing rackets, and acting like a spoiled child. The British tabloids called him Super Brat. But the infuriating thing was that he was a genius. He had the softest touch in history. You wanted to hate him for his behavior, but you had to admire his art. He paved the way for every emotional athlete that came after him.
Number 2. Eric Cantona, the king of Manchester United. Cantona was more than a footballer. He was a philosopher, an artist, and a violent thug, all wrapped in one arrogance-filled package. With his collar popped up and his chest puffed out, he looked down on everyone. He is a Manchester United legend, but to the rest of England, he was the ultimate French villain. His defining moment came in 1995 against Crystal Palace.
After being sent off, a fan in the front row shouted xenophobic insults at him. Instead of walking away, Kentanal launched himself over the advertising boards with a flying kung fu kick, planting his cleat squarely into the fan's chest, followed by a punch. It remains the most shocking moment in Premier League history. He was arrested and suspended for months. In his press conference afterwards, he refused to apologize. He simply said, "When the seagulls follow the trawler, it is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea." Then he walked out. Absolute cinema. Number 1. Conor McGregor, the ultimate villain of the modern era. No athlete in history has used toxicity to generate cash quite like the Notorious. He started as a charismatic underdog from Dublin, but as the money rolled in, the darkness took over. McGregor transformed the UFC. He didn't just defeat opponents, he destroyed them mentally before the fight even started. He insulted their families, their religions, and their countries. He took the concept of trash talk to a disgusting level. The peak of his villainy was the bus attack in Brooklyn, where he threw a metal dolly through a bus window, injuring other fighters just to get to Khabib Nurmagomedov. That rivalry was pure hatred. Even after breaking his leg in the trilogy fight against Dustin Poirier, he sat on the canvas screaming death threats. He is the perfect example of an athlete who polarizes the world. Half the world worships him like a god, copying his walk and his tattoos. The other half would pay anything to see him silenced. He is the face of the fight game, and he is the undisputed king of the villains.
But sometimes, that ruthlessness is exactly what separates the good from the great. If you want to see how that Detroit Pistons killer mentality created the greatest player of all time, you need to watch my breakdown of NBA GOATs right here. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you there.